Hoisting from the floor. Prior to any moving and assisting technique, ensure you are following all relevant PPE policies, procedures and guidelines. Make sure you have read and understood the individual's care plan and that the equipment you are planning to use is suitable and safe for the individual. Prior to using any piece of equipment, ensure you are making the appropriate safety checks. This could include the Lola service date, the safe working load, the wheels can run freely and the battery has some charge. We check all slings prior to use for rips, tears, frays and to ensure it's suitable for the task in hand and for the individual.
Following a risk assessment to establish that the individual is not hurt and after being checked over by a relevant individual, we can begin the process to hoist the individual from the floor to the designated destination. Ideally, you need a cushion under the individual's head to ensure they are comfortable. When hoisting an individual from the floor, a full body sling is required to minimise the risk of injury to their neck, back or shoulders. The full body sling is put in underneath the client by using the rolling or turning technique here as seen in another video. Position the sling underneath the individual, ensuring that the dignity strap is in place. At this point, we ensure the pillow remains under their head. Both members of staff will now lift the individual by pulling on the shoulder straps of the sling as the video shows. One member of staff will then manoeuvre themselves to be behind the client on the floor. The other member of staff will bring the hoist in from the feet or leg area of the individual, ensuring it clears the individual's body. Attach the hoist straps with the short shoulder straps and long leg straps. This will ensure the resident will be in a seated position when being lifted from the floor. With one staff member operating the hoist and the other assisting the individual, we then lift using the hoist by using the up arrow on the remote. The staff member assisting the resident on the floor will then stand as the hoist lifts to support the individual in the sling. It's important to get the individual to a chair or wheelchair safely, so ensure the desired destination is in place and in close proximity. Remember, a hoist is used for repositioning manoeuvres and not a transportation device. Use the straps on the back of the sling to ensure the individual in the sling is sat back in the chair. The hoist will then be lowered, ensuring the individual ends up in the chair. Once in the chair, the hoist brakes will be applied and the sling straps will be removed from the hoist spreader bar. Remove the brakes and remove the hoist. To remove the sling from behind the individual, we ensure the leg straps and dignity straps are removed from under the client's legs. If able, ask the resident to lean forward in the chair and remove, or use the cradling technique to remove, as shown in another video.
Some unsafe practices often witnessed when using equipment. Tilting of a chair. We should never allow the chair to tilt when carrying out a manual handling or moving an assisting manoeuvre, as this can cause injury to the individual if the chair were to fall backwards or if the legs were to slip. One person hoisting. Hoisting always requires a minimum of 2 people. Ensure that you always have another person to complete this with you, as there are too many risks to one person using it. Never leave the brakes on the hoist or a stand aid. The only time you need to use the brakes is in extreme circumstances on a risk assessed basis. You may apply the brakes when you attach the sling straps, but must remember to remove the brakes after. Leaving the brakes on can cause the equipment to tip, as the piece of equipment will not find its own centre of gravity.